Hello, and welcome to the Superhero Hub Up Foul Discussion. I'm Sam,
I'm Matt.
and today we're going to be discussing.
Doctor Who.
Ooh!
Wow.
Yeah, Doctor Who.
Well, you wanted to do it, there it was.
Yeah, I lost my bottle. I did it a little bit, but then I lost confidence because it just have to be like, I don't want to get into it. But anyway, today we're going to be discussing the fact that Peter Capaldi has quit Doctor Who. That come as a shock, but I think it's a kind of two-way street to say that it came as a shock, because you've got, oh, sorry about that one, you've got this new guy, Chris Chibnall, coming in to be like the showrunner, and like you can,
Yes, he's the guy that did Broadchurch, right?
yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at David Tennant and Russell T Davis, when Russell T Davis left, pretty much David Tennant left. So I mean, with Stephen Moffat leaving, you'd expect like the Doctor Who to leave as well. Do you agree?
I do, yeah. I mean, it's 3 years as well. That seems to be, Matt Smith, I think, had a 3 year run as well, or 3.5.
No, 4.
Well, remember, he left halfway through the 7th series.
Did he?
Yeah, maybe he did the first half of season 7.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, no, wait, no, that was Amy and
Yeah.
Rory, yeah. But I think he only did 3 years roughly.
No, he did like 4 years. He went on for a while, because think like he had about 3 seasons. This one's only had like 2 so far, and has already been knocking about for like 3 years.
He has, well, 3 years for him, and
There's been
you know,
there's been less production. There's been a lot of space in between the season, so that there has been on the other ones.
it's not too much of a surprise, I don't think. It did kind of come out of nowhere. There has been no real build up to it, and we have got an entire series to go yet. But he is a guy that I think would like to do other stuff. I think he said that.
So I think that's a cop out, because like you see like whenever he's interviewed and that, they always bring up like the picture in the Doctor Who book of him like when he was 4 years old, like writing into like the Doctor Who, asking if there's like a fan club and whatever, because he's a huge fan and he loves Doctor Who, and he like is proper into like Doctor Who and that. So I think
Right,
he
but
always
he's done
wanted.
it now, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think he wanted to do it for like a while. I mean, what is there really for like him to do
Well, I mean, I don't
elsewhere?
know. He's done the thick of it. I'm sure he'll probably be in demand. There's roles he can get. Doctor Who is kind of limiting when it comes to doing other work.
Yeah, I think generally people that go on to Doctor Who, they're kind of their careers, they've either had a bit of career and they don't really know what they're doing, they're just picking up tidbits, or it's someone like you've never heard of that do it. So with him, I think he's done films, he's done TV, and then he's kind of stuck kind of like picking up tidbit roles for like episodes every so often, and then like it's for I kind of want to go for something like permanent, you know what I mean, something that I can be doing for like a few years, as opposed to just picking up tidbits here and there and not knowing where the next paycheck's come from.
But the thick of it was a hit.
The
So
thick of it was great. That's
he
probably
had,
one of my favourites.
he had legitimate TV success, and I think he's looking at. I remember he was older than the three that have come before him. The three, yes, the three that have come before him in the modern era.
Yeah.
I think.
I think there's nothing. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think the thing was people are so used to kind of dashing, good looking. Even Chris Tennant. You know what I mean? You got Chris Tennant. No, Chris Tennant. Chris Eccleston. Then
Yeah.
you got David Tennant and Matt Smith. They're kind of young, dashing, you know what I mean? And then like there was like, oh, all of a sudden there's like this 60-year-old, and everyone's like, oh, I'm not gonna watch. I'm not cancel. I think like in the grand scheme of things, like looking at it, you have like posers who are just like, oh, so handsome, but like in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it should matter if he's an older guy or not.
No, no, but what I mean is, you know, his career trajectory will probably be different from
Yeah,
the three
yeah,
that came before him leaving the show. He's not going to go and do what David Tennant's done. He's not going to do what Matt Smith is trying to do. Well, Matt Smith's got the Crown this year, right? That was a hit. So
yeah. Because he was picking up some dodgy things. He was
yeah,
like not really going anywhere. I mean, The Crown's good, but I mean, yeah, it's like diversity in his like portfolio, but it's like, do you really kind of want to be doing something on like Netflix? You think he'd want to be part of like a big show, you know, even as a supporting character, you'd want to be in like a big show after that.
well, I
So,
don't, I haven't seen it to be honest, but from what I can see, the Crown seems to be pretty big. It's getting a lot of the Warbirds, so
yeah,
it's a step in the right direction compared to where he was going with a bit part in the Terminator and
yeah.
that other vampire thing, whatever that was he was in.
Pride
So
and Prejudice and Zombies.
that's it.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, as soon as he quit, like, I think if you look at Tennant and Capaldi now, because like the showrunner's leaving, you kind of feel like the pressure to leave as opposed to carry on with the show. But with like Matt Smith, he kind of like quit when it was kind of like it was getting successful for him. I mean, it just really broke America properly. Everyone's getting hyped about it, and then like he left, and then he said it himself. Is like, I regretted doing it. I'll admit I regretted like leaving. If I was him and that, I probably would have stayed on till like people were like, yeah, I'm sick of you now.
See, I don't know. I think it's a difficult thing to do. You've got to think of the long term future in terms of what jobs you're going to get after you leave the show.
Mhm.
Do you want to be, Tom Baker was a massively successful and popular, but what did he do after Doctor Who? Nothing really.
Little Britain.
Right, but that was what 30 years later.
Yeah, yeah. I think
He's not really in it, is he?
I think it's probably. I think he made a fair bit of money off it. Yeah, but what's Peter Capaldi gonna do after it? Really?
Who knows? But
Play Alfred on Batman?
I think he wants to. I think he wants a chance to find out, and I think he wants to get out of Cardiff and have a shot. So
Yeah, I think though. Honestly though, I think really. I mean, yeah, we'll probably accept the decision and be like, no hard feelings. But I think deep down is kind of like a little disappointed. I think he probably would have liked to do like a couple. Because to be honest, I think if it was like a decision he was happy with, I think as soon as season 10 was announced, as soon as season 9 finished, he would have been like, look, you want to know what, guys? I think this should be my last season. I've had a good run, I've enjoyed it, I've done what I wanted to do, now I'm ready to go. As opposed to season 10's in production, you've got this new companion announced, everything's like going along, and then all of a sudden, boom, bombshell. Wouldn't have been breaking news if you said before season 10. It's breaking news now, and it's such a big deal now because it's. I mean, it's this is a blunt term, but it's a force out. You know, it's a force out, which
what
is
do you think?
kind.
You think he's being forced out?
Yeah, I think like BBC are kind of putting pressure. Like, okay, look, let's look. It's like, yeah, you've had critically acclaimed seasons, really high acclaim. People like you. Let's drop out now, and then you go out on high. Kind of like his character in the thick of it was like going around to people like, look, maybe it's best if you resign now before you get like caught up. And that it's like, you know, you've had a good run. Let's just drop out now. I think they've kind of said that, and it's been like, you wanna know what? Maybe I don't 100% agree with it, but I mean, these guys are probably going to be like harassing him, like, look, come on, new showrunner. It's going to be a bit different. It's going to be too much of a shake-up. If we're changing all these things, it's going to be better if we get a new Doctor in as well. So you know, maybe
Well,
we should.
I'm not sure I disagree with that either. It's the nature of the beast. The show for the show to survive, it's got to change, and that's what happens. And so be it. I know, like you said, he had a critical acclaim, and for the second season just gone, I'd agree. But I thought the first one was pretty weak, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard because my thing was like if Doctor Who's like on like another channel like they're doing syndication. I lost my microphone for a minute there. I got confused where it was. if it's like syndicated on another channel, like whatever channel we have over here, I'll generally watch it if it's like Matt Smith or like David. No, not so much David Tennant, because I get the hype around him, but I'm not like massive. Like, oh my god, it's
Okay,
David. I mean, he did
to each their own.
he did his job. He was okay, but it's not like amazing. I prefer Matt Smith because it was a bit grittier. You know what I mean? Kind of like Peter Capaldi. But the one thing I said was, in all honesty, is like if his seasons popped up on like this syndicated show, and I wouldn't really. None of his episodes for me would be like, well, a couple. I'll admit, like a couple, like the last two episodes where they went back to Gallifrey for season 9. But I wouldn't go out my way to be like, oh, Peter Capaldi's Doctor Who's on, I'm gonna rewatch that episode, because I'd just be like, you know what I mean? Except for like 2 or 3 episodes, but with like Matt Smith, like out of like a 12 episode season, I'd probably re-watch it. Obviously, there'd be like a couple duff ones in there, in my opinion, but I'd watch about 9 of the episodes, happy to be rewatched. But with that, there was kind of. I wouldn't go out my way to rewatch like a whole season like on box set or whatever. But the thing is, I think that's like the transition, the kind of first season transition, where it's like I mean, for all intents and purposes, the show had completely changed. You'd gone from like Matt Smith and that kind of all funny or like blah 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 to kind of like really kind of dark and serious themes. You know what I mean? Well, not
Sure.
serious themes, but you know, dark, like real gritty, and it was just like to adjust to that. It takes a while. That's why
Also,
they've kind of toned him up a bit. They've kind of made him a bit like warmer as a character, not massively, but I think it's in a good place where it's kind of like questioning. You know what I mean? Is like not naive by any stretch of the imagination. It's kind of like questioning. Is gruff. Is like no nonsense, straight in there, and
right.
the humour off that is really good as well, because there's clever humour that can come off that, which I think he pulls off really well. That I don't think like someone like Matt Smith would pull off, because I think there's got to be a kind of seniority to that kind of thing, that obviously an older man, not for the fact that he's like an old man and that.
No,
I
but
mean,
that's why I want to. We can sit here and say his age shouldn't be important. It is. You can't.
yeah,
You
for the
can't go
tone,
from.
for the tone
Right.
you're going for. I
You
mean,
can't go from Matt Smith, who was the young, although he played a very old Doctor. You can't go from Matt Smith, who was the youngest Doctor there had ever been, to at least second, if not the oldest, and it not play a factor. It has to do, and it did.
yeah, I think it worked well for the kind of tone. I think they thought, right, we're going to get away from this, we're going to mix it up so it's a standalone, so it's not a carbon copy of whoever's come between him. We're going to stand him alone, we're going to make him serious, kind of professional, no nonsense, and we're going to make the episodes reflect that. Because you got to think of it like, you've got people, like not people, you got creatures, aliens, like the Daleks going around murdering, like genocide, basically genocide. You got people like getting vaporized in episodes, and you're going around cracking wires and stuff like that, and it's like, if you look at the tone of the show and stuff like that, is it really kind of authentic to be bouncing around making jokes? It's like, yo, people are died. It's like, fair enough, he's kind of an alien, and it's kind of subjective to like, oh, he's going to break down and cry because some person got killed. But I mean, it's kind of like a dark show, even though it is kind of bright and colourful and fun and stuff like that. But it's like, yo, that guy over there just got blasted, and you guys ain't blinking an eye.
But that's kind of the beauty of the show. It can be what you need it to be. It can be what you want it to be. You know, a different Doctor will bring out a different tone. The Eccleston era definitely was, I would say, probably the most similar to what we have now. Although it was very grounded in Earth, because we didn't have the budget at the time. But the show, yes, you have to give it a bedding in period. That first season was awkward for me. It was also, you know, the first episode, I remember it being set on a bad, I don't want to say bad, but disappointing him immediately. I didn't like it. I thought, yes, the pointing out that he was Scottish was funny the first time.
Yeah, but when you milk
on
it,
about it. Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like clever humour. Clever humour, you do a joke once. It's like if you repeat the same old thing, then it's just like, Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like pointing out the obvious. It's like, yeah, we got it the first time. If you keep doing it, it just loses its appeal, and it's just one of them things where it's like it's a joke. It's never repeated again. So, I think it was a good Doctor. You know what I mean? I think the ratings reflected that it was a good Doctor. Okay, the first season was a bit iffy, but it's like the storylines that kind of, the story arcs are general, like two episodes hand in hand. I think that's what the kind of the season 9 or the second of Peter Capaldi's season. Most of the episodes were like 2 episode cliffhanger ones, where like you had like a Shielder as like a kind of companion, like antagonist character. She was good, you know what I mean. I thought she was great. Maisie Williams was good, and when you throw in characters like that, it helps the season move on a bit. If you have characters like that, you've got 12 episodes, and you've got this kind of refreshing character, because normally like you in the episodes you have like a kind of main side character, you know what I mean, that's not the doctor or the assistant, and it kind of focuses on them and they're kind of throwaway. But with a Shielder, you bring her back for like 4 or 5 episodes, and she's actually quite good. It's like you could have her as a companion, no sweat, and she'd probably stand up then. You know what I mean? Some of the other ones who have been a bit ropey, and she'd kind of fall into it like quickly, as opposed to other people you have to get used to. She'd be like snap straight in there, and she'd probably like overshadow the Doctor. So I mean,
Yeah, which is a reason then not to do it.
yeah, I know, but she's still. I mean, you could spin off her and Clara, and it'd be all calm on the farm. So
I
I mean,
thought I thought it was okay, just unspectacular so far. But if season 10 or series 10 was as good as the last one, I might change my mind.
yeah, I think they'll just kind of go all out. My problem is the new companion. I ain't too hot on her, but is
We haven't seen it yet, though, have we?
yeah, I'll give her a chance, but I think it's just gonna be whatever, meh. But what I'm interested to see if the Master, Missy, whatever you wanna call her, if she comes back, because I think there's unresolved arcs with her as well, and I
There's
think
no way she can't.
yeah, if Doctor Who's going to be killed off, whack her in the Christmas episode, have her kill him off. Go back to like basics and that, because you're kind of trying to humanise her a bit to kind of explain away her actions. It's just
Right.
have her kill
See,
him.
I, I'm inclined to agree, but see, it seems with where they've gone with at least the Missy version, it doesn't seem like something she'd do now. It seems
Yeah,
like
that's
she would come out.
that's what I mean. If you want to move back to basics, that's kind of what you want to do.
Although, in fact, we should say in fairness, they did sort of do that with John Sim as well at the end, right? He did kind of save the world or whatever. So I guess they.
Yeah, but that's because he was just mad at the Time Lord. So I mean,
But in terms of who will be the next Doctor, I have no idea.
yeah,
I will say though, something that's been bugging me. People keep on suggesting these ridiculous people.
like who?
Emily Blunt, Idris Elba. Right, they're not going to do it. They are movie stars. They will not ruin their career by going to live. And Doctor Who's great. I love Doctor Who, but they're not going to stamp all over their career by moving to Cardiff for most of the year, where they can't work or do any of their films for what 2-3 years. It's not going to happen.
Exactly. I mean, even then, it's like Doctor would offer them like what, if they're lucky, 600,000 a year. It's like they could do like the most Z list film and get like triple that and work like a couple months.
It's
They could
just
do a
not
cameo
feasible.
for that money. Yeah, I think. Do you think they should take the Matt Smith approach? Because I'm not really going to speculate on. I mean, we'll finish the episode with like where it's kind of going to go in terms of the next Doctor. But I mean, in terms of, I'm not going to drop any names because I mean, you know what,
How
Peter.
come we have no idea.
Yeah,
I mean, he's leaving.
I mean Peter Capaldi. Who would have seen that coming? Even though he is a fan and stuff like that, but you kind of. I think the next one if anything, is probably going to be like an unknown. Probably like Matt Smith, like not really known. Maybe been in like a couple things, but nothing like massive. In terms of a woman, I mean, the way you could get around that is have the Valued come back, who's like the evil manifestation of the Doctor. But the problem is, you got the Master as a woman. So if you bring in like the Valued and make like the dark aspect of his personality and have that as a woman, like feminists will probably jump on it and that. Oh, why is this female aspect have to be so like evil and that? And because you got the Master as a woman, it's going to be like, oh yeah, that's just like the Master mistress was.
I guess the Doctor can be a woman. They have the
Oh,
Master being a woman has laid the groundwork. So
yeah, but I
you
don't
know,
think it's not gonna be for like another couple seasons. I mean, they can work around it. They can have reflections of the Doctor being, but now they've made Missy, there'll probably be comparisons drawn to that, so they probably might not be so confident. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, yeah, let it be a woman. I mean,
they've got to do
this
it.
companion could be the next Doctor Who.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it'd be a shocker though. You wouldn't see that one coming. I mean, just
Sounds
like
a,
this recent news, but I think it's going to be, if it's anyone, it's going to be someone like Loki, who's done a couple like British TV things, like, popped up on like Casualty or Doctors for like an episode, and who's like, this is like their TV big role.
yeah, it's not going to be a movie star. For the love of God, if anyone takes anything out of this, do not think Emily Blunt or Idris Elba are going to be the Doctor. No, no Benedict Cumberbatch either, you idiots.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He's jumped ship from Sherlock, so
No,
don't
he
think
can't. Dude
maybe.
can't even fit in 3 episodes of Sherlock. Are you? He's not going to do Doctor Who, is he?
Exactly. I mean, he'll probably do it when he's like 50.
No, he might play like the Master or something in 20 years, but he's not going to play the Doctor.
Mm. I mean, I'll be able. I mean, yeah, but that's the thing though, because now in like 10, 20 years' time and that, like about 5 or 6 showrunners would have gone through and that. I mean, the only way you could convince Benedict Cumberbatch to do something like that feasibly and have a high chance of success is if Stephen Moffat was like, look, we worked together on Sherlock, let's do a little something. But Stephen Moffat's not going to come back. He's dipped now. He's jumped ship. I mean, you could have Mark Gatiss, kind of, Mycroft Holmes, who's writ episodes of Sherlock and writ episodes of Doctor Who. You could have him be like a showrunner, but I mean, he's kind of more of like a kind of co-writer and stuff like that. He's always kind of been a co-writer on Sherlock and like a star, but well, actor, I'd say star. I mean, yes, star, whatever. I'll just reiterate that point. But I mean, if he was like a showrunner, he could probably get him to do a role, but I mean, unless it's really like Stephen Moffat or like his friend or something like that, he's not really going to go out on a limb, really. So I think
Well,
that's
time will
wishful
tell.
thinking.
We won't. The regeneration we're hearing will probably be in the Christmas special.
Yeah.
So we got just under a year. I imagine we probably won't know until just before that time.
Yeah, I think in between season 10 ending, out of respect for Peter Capaldi, I don't
Yeah.
think it'll be announced till like in between it ending and the Christmas special. It's probably about November, December time you hear an early Christmas present. Yeah, probably like October, November time you'll probably hear, and then you'll have a couple like weeks to digest it, and then you'll have it there on a plate for you. So with that, we'll wrap up this episode, and I'd like to formally announce now that I will not be auditioning for the role, so you don't have to worry. I'll still be here to do this amazing show every day, daily, weekly. I'll be here, so don't worry, viewers. I'm all
I'm
about
not
you
making that
guys.
promise. I'd beat you all the second to do Doctor Who.
I'm Sam.
I'm not.
I'll see you in the next episode.